Pooh Shiesty is back in the headlines, and this time, it's serious. The feds have reportedly opened a brand new case against the rapper, and the details that are emerging are already sending shockwaves through the industry. Just when fans thought the drama might be settling, it's clear that legal trouble is far from over. This isn't just another arrest story, it's a federal investigation, and that carries consequences that can change a career overnight. For months, Pooh Shiesty has been under scrutiny, facing challenges that range from social media controversy to prior legal battles. But a federal case is different. It's bigger, more complex, and much more high stakes. Sources suggest that authorities have been quietly building evidence, monitoring activity, and coordinating a multi-layered investigation that could impact more than just the rapper himself. The timing of this development is also raising eyebrows. Pooh Shiesty's popularity has been on the rise, with music streams increasing and fan engagement reaching new heights. Yet just as momentum builds, legal pressure lands, threatening to derail everything he's worked for. Industry insiders are already speculating about potential fallout, from suspended deals to shifts in public perception. Fans and critics alike are dissecting every post, every track, and every public appearance for clues about what led to this point. The leaked details so far hint at serious allegations, and the fact that federal authorities are involved means this story is far from contained. One misstep, one miscalculated move, could escalate the situation dramatically. The big question on everyone's mind: how will Pooh Shiesty respond? Will he fight back publicly, rely on legal strategy, or stay silent while the case unfolds? And what does this mean for the future of his career, his brand, and his place in the rap world? As details continue to surface, one thing is certain: this is not a story that's going away anytime soon. Fans, the industry, and critics alike are watching closely, waiting to see how the next chapter unfolds. The news of a federal investigation into Pooh Shiesty hit like a shockwave. While his name had been linked to controversy before, the weight of a federal case is entirely different. Unlike state or local disputes, a federal investigation carries far-reaching consequences, drawing in resources, agencies, and legal scrutiny that can last months or even years. For Pooh Shiesty, this isn't just another headline. It's a challenge that could redefine his career, his reputation, and his freedom. Sources close to the situation suggest that the authorities have been quietly observing, gathering evidence, and connecting dots behind the scenes, building a case that could have serious implications beyond what fans have seen on social media or the news. In the rap world, where image is everything, the mere announcement of a federal case can shift public perception overnight. Deals, collaborations, and brand partnerships are suddenly under review, leaving even the most loyal supporters anxious about what comes next. For years, Pooh Shiesty has balanced his rising fame with the pressures of a highly scrutinized public life. His music, social media presence, and public persona have all contributed to a sense of both opportunity and exposure. Every track, post, and appearance is interpreted through multiple lenses, especially now that federal authorities are involved. Fans immediately began dissecting his past lyrics, videos, and interactions for any hint of wrongdoing. Some defended him, emphasizing that legal processes are complex and that no one should be judged prematurely. Others speculated about prior incidents, assuming a pattern that may or may not exist. The viral nature of this news means that every movement he makes is analyzed, shared, and debated, creating an environment of heightened tension around a situation that is already serious. The timing of the investigation has also raised questions within the industry. Pooh Shiesty's momentum had been strong, music streaming numbers were climbing, collaborations were being rumored, and fan engagement was at a peak. Just as his profile seemed to be solidifying, the federal case introduces a level of instability that could dramatically impact both short-term opportunities and long-term growth. Industry insiders suggest that labels, managers, and collaborators are all watching closely, weighing the risks of association while the investigation unfolds. Federal cases are slow, methodical, and unpredictable. Even a minor misstep, an offhand comment, a misinterpreted action, could be amplified into something far more serious. For artists, This isn't just about legal outcomes. It's about public trust, marketability, and the ability to continue building a career without constant disruption. The broader context of federal involvement cannot be underestimated. Unlike local law enforcement, federal authorities have access to resources and investigative tools that make every action and transaction traceable. Sources suggest that the case is not limited to a single incident, but may involve multiple threads under scrutiny. The complexity adds pressure not only on Pooh Shiesty but on his team, who now have to coordinate legal strategy while maintaining public appearances and career obligations. In the music industry, the stakes are always high, but federal scrutiny introduces a unique intensity. Every decision is magnified, every alliance is questioned, and every movement has consequences that can't easily be undone. This is the environment in which Pooh Shiesty now finds himself navigating. At the same time, fan reactions have been a mix of support, skepticism, and curiosity. On social media, hashtags began trending within hours, discussions ran deep, and reactions were immediate. Some fans are calling for patience, emphasizing that allegations are not convictions and that the legal system requires time to determine facts. Others have shifted from admiration to concern, worried that even an accusation could derail everything Pooh Shiesty has worked to achieve. The leaked snippets and rumors circulating online have only fueled speculation, making it difficult for anyone to separate fact from fiction. In this climate, perception can become as powerful as the investigation itself, shaping public opinion even before the legal process concludes. The human impact of this type of scrutiny is profound. For Pooh Shiesty, the personal stress is likely immense, as the public nature of the case forces him to operate under pressure that most people never experience. Every statement, appearance, or social media post is examined for legal and reputational risk. Support systems must balance loyalty with caution, providing guidance without creating additional exposure. Even small mistakes can be amplified in ways that have long-lasting effects. Navigating the balance between maintaining a career, protecting personal safety, and complying with legal strategy is a high-stakes exercise in discipline and foresight. As this story unfolds, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The federal case isn't just a temporary headline, it's a turning point. What happens in a world where perception can be as powerful as reality? The next steps taken by Pooh Shiesty and his team will define how this chapter concludes, and whether he can emerge from federal scrutiny with his career intact. The days following the announcement of the federal case were intense. Behind the public eye, Pooh Shiesty reportedly spent hours with his legal team, reviewing every interaction, every prior incident, and every document that could potentially be relevant. In situations like this, preparation isn't just about defense. It's about understanding the scope of scrutiny, predicting potential angles, and minimizing risks wherever possible. Federal investigations operate on a level of detail that can overwhelm even the most experienced teams, and sources suggest that every message, post, and association was being evaluated carefully. This is the kind of pressure that goes beyond ordinary celebrity stress, where one misstep can have cascading effects on both career and personal life. Industry insiders quickly began speculating about what this new case might involve. Rumors swirled online, ranging from alleged financial misconduct to prior legal entanglements resurfacing under federal jurisdiction. While much of it remains unverified, the attention alone has created an intense spotlight on Pooh Shiesty, one that cannot be ignored or easily deflected. The rapper's label and management were reportedly assessing potential fallout from canceled collaborations, postponed releases, and paused sponsorship deals. In an industry built on momentum and visibility, even temporary setbacks can create long-term consequences, and every party involved had to consider how public perception could affect future business opportunities. Meanwhile, the fanbase reacted with a mix of loyalty and anxiety. On social media, supporters expressed frustration at the timing, emphasizing that artists shouldn't be judged before facts are presented. Others dissected past interviews, social media posts, and lyrics for hints of wrongdoing. Even casual observers who normally engage only with music news were drawn in, highlighting how quickly a federal investigation can dominate attention and fuel speculation. The combination of curiosity, concern, and misinformation made it difficult to separate actual facts from rumor, and the rapid spread of partial information amplified the stakes for everyone involved. The emotional toll on Pooh Shiesty is reportedly significant. Federal cases don't operate on the rapid timeline of viral news. They move slowly, methodically, and deliberately. Weeks can feel like months, and every moment of uncertainty adds stress. Artists who live under public scrutiny must manage not only legal strategy, but also the personal impact of being constantly watched. According to sources, maintaining composure in this environment requires discipline, support, and careful planning. One poorly timed statement, one misinterpreted social media post, or one accidental association can become headline news and affect public perception before legal conclusions are reached. The leaked information surrounding the case has also fueled speculation, even as details remain scarce. Observers point to the involvement of multiple jurisdictions and federal oversight as evidence of the investigation's seriousness. Unlike local cases, federal cases often involve extensive coordination, surveillance, and documentation, which can make even minor infractions appear more significant. The complexity increases the stakes, not only legally but reputationally. Every move must be calculated to protect both career and personal freedom. In the modern music industry, reputation is currency, and federal scrutiny can rapidly diminish both public trust and professional opportunities if mishandled. Sources suggest that Pooh Shiesty's team has been focused on strategic containment. The priority isn't publicity, it's risk management. By carefully controlling statements, appearances, and communications, the goal is to prevent unnecessary complications. In federal cases, proactive control of information is as critical as legal defense. Misinformation or impulsive commentary can escalate situations dramatically, creating new legal challenges and amplifying scrutiny. For a public figure whose career depends on visibility, balancing caution with continued engagement is a delicate, high-stakes process. The ripple effects extend beyond Pooh Shiesty himself. Collaborators, producers, and sponsors must all navigate uncertainty, weighing whether continuing association could risk public or financial exposure. Some deals may be paused temporarily, while others could be renegotiated under stricter terms. Even fans who are loyal can't prevent the industry from acting conservatively when faced with federal involvement. Reputation and marketability now hang in the balance, and every decision carries heightened importance. As the investigation continues, it's clear that the next steps will define the trajectory of Pooh Shiesty's career. Legal strategy, public communication, and personal conduct will all play pivotal roles in determining whether he emerges relatively unscathed or faces long-term setbacks. Federal scrutiny doesn't just test legal defenses, it tests emotional resilience, strategic thinking, and the ability to navigate a world where every move is analyzed. For fans and observers alike, the unfolding story serves as a stark reminder that in the music industry, talent alone is never enough. Preparation, caution, and calculated action are just as vital to survival. As the federal case continued to develop, the intensity of the situation became more apparent with each passing day. Pooh Shiesty reportedly spent long hours reviewing past actions, consulting attorneys, and preparing for the inevitable questions that could arise from authorities. Unlike local legal issues, federal investigations are meticulous and methodical, often taking months to progress while leaving those involved in a state of constant vigilance. Every email, every social media post, and even minor business transactions are subject to scrutiny. This level of oversight can be mentally exhausting, particularly for someone whose daily life is usually filled with creativity, performance, and public interaction. Public reactions added another layer of pressure. Social media erupted with speculation, opinions, and debates about the potential implications of a federal case. Some fans remained fiercely loyal, asserting that allegations do not equal guilt and emphasizing the need to wait for the facts. Others dissected every past interview, lyric, or public interaction for clues, attempting to connect dots that may or may not exist. The constant barrage of commentary created an environment in which Pooh Shiesty's every move was watched, and even innocent actions could be misinterpreted or blown out of proportion. Managing this dual scrutiny, from authorities and from the public, required precision, discipline, and restraint. The leaked details surrounding the case only intensified scrutiny. While the complete scope remains confidential, insiders indicate that authorities are investigating multiple angles, which could involve connections or activity for a public figure. Understanding this dynamic is crucial because perception often intersects with legal reality, impacting career opportunities and partnerships even before a verdict is reached. Within his personal circle, Pooh Shiesty reportedly leaned heavily on a trusted group of advisors and confidants. Navigating a federal investigation while maintaining a public career is a balancing act. Every decision must consider legal, personal, and professional consequences. Maintaining mental clarity becomes as important as legal strategy. Sleep becomes scarce, distractions are amplified, and trust becomes a rare commodity. One misstep, whether a casual comment or a poorly timed social media post, can create ripple effects that are difficult to contain. The effect on his career was immediate. Industry insiders suggest that potential collaborations, brand deals, and live appearances were being reviewed cautiously. Sponsors and partners often respond conservatively when federal involvement is announced, and some engagements may be delayed or temporarily suspended until the investigation stabilizes. While his music and streaming numbers remain strong, uncertainty in the public and professional spheres introduces a significant challenge. Federal cases don't just test legal skill, they test endurance, adaptability, and the ability to navigate high-stakes pressure under constant observation. Emotionally, the impact cannot be overstated. Being under federal scrutiny forces a person to examine every detail of their past actions and anticipate future challenges. For someone in the public eye, there's an added layer of complexity. Every action is both personal and performative. Balancing authenticity with caution is a daily struggle. Sources indicate that Pooh Shiesty became highly intentional with his public appearances, limiting unnecessary exposure and focusing on maintaining composure. The need to remain calm, strategic, and forward-thinking was paramount. The case also cast a spotlight on the environment surrounding him. Friends, collaborators, and advisors were affected as well, needing to consider their own positions and exposure. In situations like these, ripple effects extend beyond the individual directly involved. Maintaining loyalty while navigating risk is a delicate act, and relationships are tested in ways that are often invisible to the public. Every interaction is evaluated for potential repercussions, adding another layer of stress and caution. Even as the investigation unfolded, fans remained engaged, dissecting rumors and leaked snippets for insight. Each new detail sparked waves of discussion, highlighting how public interest can intensify pressure on someone already facing high-stakes scrutiny. This dual exposure to federal investigation and social media analysis creates a unique tension that few outside the industry fully understand. Career decisions, personal choices, and even casual statements can now have amplified consequences. By this point, it was clear that the federal case was not just a temporary setback, it was a defining moment. Legal outcomes would shape the trajectory of his career, but so would the way he handled scrutiny, public perception, and personal stress. Navigating these waters required discipline, focus, and careful planning, as any miscalculation could have long-term effects on both reputation and opportunity. For Pooh Shiesty, this period became as much about strategy and endurance as it was about defense, marking a pivotal chapter in both his professional and personal life. As the federal case continued to unfold, Pooh Shiesty began to navigate the reality that this situation was no longer about headlines or viral attention. It was about survival, strategy, and long-term consequences. The initial shock of the investigation had given way to a sober understanding of what was at stake. Federal scrutiny doesn't move at the pace of the internet, and the process is rarely predictable. Every detail matters, every decision carries weight, and every interaction, whether personal, professional, or public, can be leveraged in ways that are impossible to control. For someone whose career thrives on visibility, balancing caution with presence became the central challenge. Within his inner circle, the focus shifted entirely to containment and planning. Legal advisors, management, and trusted confidants reportedly worked around the clock to assess risks, prepare statements, and anticipate potential developments. Unlike local disputes, federal investigations are meticulous. Authorities compile evidence over months or even years, connecting dots and examining patterns that may not be obvious at first glance. For Pooh Shiesty, this meant that past choices, social media activity, and public behavior were all being evaluated under a new lens. Even minor missteps could be magnified, making strategic discipline essential. Public perception continued to play a major role. Fans remained divided between staunch support and cautious observation. Social media amplified speculation, with every comment, post, or appearance dissected for hidden meaning. Supporters emphasized the principle of innocent until proven guilty, while critics highlighted past controversies as evidence of a larger pattern. The dual pressure of legal scrutiny and public opinion created a unique stress, forcing Pooh Shiesty to be hyper-aware of every move. In this environment, patience became a critical skill, as reactive decisions could have cascading consequences far beyond it. In high-profile cases, anyone closely connected can feel the effects, whether through professional hesitation or public association. Relationships had to be navigated with heightened awareness. Trust became harder to extend, and every interaction carried the potential for unexpected consequences. Even allies had to act cautiously, understanding that the stakes now involved both public perception and legal risk. Over time, the attention began to shift from sensationalism to scrutiny of process. Media coverage evolved from speculation about immediate drama to analysis of what federal involvement actually entails. Experts broke down potential legal procedures, the roles of investigators, and the possible outcomes. This shift, while still stressful for those involved, offered a degree of predictability. It allowed Pooh Shiesty and his team to focus on strategy rather than reacting to every rumor or viral clip. Understanding the mechanics of the case, rather than the noise surrounding it, became a guiding principle. Ultimately, this chapter of his life was as much about endurance as it was about defense. Legal outcomes would shape the next phase of his career, but the ability to navigate scrutiny, maintain composure, and protect his reputation was equally critical. The federal investigation became a defining moment, testing resilience, foresight, and the capacity to act with discipline under pressure. Each day reinforced the reality that survival in the public eye requires not only talent, but also careful navigation of both perception and consequence. By the time weeks and months had passed, the trajectory of Pooh Shiesty's career had shifted in subtle but significant ways. He had learned to operate under intense observation, to anticipate challenges, and to prioritize long-term stability over immediate gratification. The federal case had transformed not just his legal reality, but his approach to career, relationships, and public life. In the end, this was not merely a chapter of controversy, it was a chapter of growth, resilience, and strategic adaptation. Pooh Shiesty had emerged not only as a public figure facing scrutiny, but as someone learning to navigate a world where every move counts, and where survival depends on patience, precision, and foresight. This federal case against Pooh Shiesty isn't just another headline. It's a wake-up call for anyone watching the highs and lows of the music industry. What's happening now shows how quickly fame and success can intersect with legal scrutiny, and how important it is for artists to protect themselves, their teams, and their careers. Pooh Shiesty's situation highlights that talent alone isn't enough. Preparation, discipline, and strategic thinking are just as critical to navigating the pressures of public life. Fans, collaborators, and industry insiders are all watching closely, waiting to see how this unfolds, and every decision matters. If this story grabbed your attention, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss updates on this case or other explosive stories in the rap world. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. How do you think Pooh Shiesty will handle this latest challenge?